that's not good. Like the McCutcheon one, the Phillies got stick for that in some quarters, let's say.
Yeah,
And,
how long was the McCutcheon deal again? I forgot.
I think it was three with a team option for a fourth, or maybe it was. I think it was three plus one. I'm not entirely sure he was in
Yeah,
control
you
of that.
see, I don't mind that so much at all because Finley's McCutcheon is he? Well, he has been, and he still is a decent hitter.
Yeah,
With Pollock, you're paying for the defense. McCutcheon, not so much. I mean, people know that he's now. You don't sign him as a centre fielder, but he can still be a pretty decent right fielder.
he's
I
going to
mean,
walk a ton, and he's going to give you a few home runs. And the biggest thing for me is he's going to play games. He's going to play over 150 games every single year,
yeah,
or well, probably
until
he
he
might
gets
get
injured,
hurt. Yeah, he may get
but it's
injured
not
this
happened
year.
yet.
Yeah, I'd rather bank on McCutcheon playing 150 than I would on Pollock playing 150.
Yeah, I think Pollock. Looking at this a minute ago, I think Pollock has only played over 150 games once in his career,
Yep,
and that's
yeah,
that
he
one
has.
year that he's still living off.
Where he got
I think.
MVP votes and was an
Yeah,
All-Star, and Gold Glove and stuff.
but that's pretty much his only decent year. I mean, the year before was okay, but don't know if he was injured, but he didn't play a full season.
That was 15, wasn't it?
The good one. Uh,
2015, I think.
I think 2015 was the good one, yeah. And then 14, he was also quite good, but didn't play as much.
Yeah, that's so long ago that's when the Kansas City Royals won the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you compare it to the McCutcheon thing we were just talking about, was that was like when McCutcheon was his peak, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit
Almost.
before, maybe.
Yeah, there was. Well, what was it? 2013, he won MVP.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's not. He's just you can't rely on him to be that player. Which this contract feels like that is what you're paying for.
yeah, or you're paying for something close to it. I mean, the contract can be okay if hits he hit for more power last year. So if he hits for a decent amount of power and his batting average is good because he's never going to walk a lot and walk rates don't tend to change a great deal. Um, so if he gets his batting average around 270 and hits 20 home runs
Yeah, that
and
would
plays
be
centre field, but you're not
that
going to
would
get that for 4 years.
no, and that would be like his best year since 2015, since when he was an All Star.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
you're
that.
relying on a 31-year-old to improve,
Yeah,
and you've paid him for 5 years. I don't get it really. And then the Dodgers are also, according to Bob Nightingale, after the Pollock deal, said they're now chasing after Realmuto. Um, okay,
well,
why didn't you re-sign Grandal?
you know, they've I think they've lost it a bit. The last few years, they've it's been like the opposite, hasn't it? They've been getting undervalued players
Yeah,
and make them, and it seems like they're just making up for it all this off season, especially if they go and get Real Muto instead of re-signing Grandal. They're just going for the most overvalued players they possibly can.
it seems like, given what the Marlins have been asking for from people, they'd have to give up Alex Verdugo probably if they wanted to get Realmuto.
Well, they've been asking, weren't they asking for like Bellinger?
Yeah, they were, but surely the Marlins will realise they're not getting that. It seems like Verdugo would be the minimum at the moment to
I
me.
mean, Verdugo, I don't think would be a too bad a price for the Dodgers to pay if it was like Verdugo as the main thing. But I don't think the Marlins would do that. It really sounds like the Marlins want someone who's like a major league player and like a good major league player that's on minimum still.
Yeah, I don't
From
know
like
why the Marlins are asking for that either, to be honest. That seems like it's too high a price, and that player is going to be near free agency by the time you're good,
yeah,
if you're ever good.
that's not going to help them
No.
unless the
And they're
plan
not
is
going to
to
pay him.
retrade them in like a couple of years.
Yeah, get Cody Bellinger, get him to hit a load of home runs, and then trade him in a year or two. But that still seems a stupid way for them to do it. I think the best, if I was the Marlins, I'd ask for like lower prospects, and then you might get more.
Yeah,
guys that were high draft picks in the last few years.
Yeah, that's the problem with the Dodgers though. Is I'm not sure they've got that many of those at the moment. I think
Have
a lot of
gone.
them they either traded or have come through.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago, there was like Willie Calhoun, Bellinger,
Well, they have a couple of catchers.
Urias. What about someone like Urias?
Yeah, because the Marlins want young pitching.
Yeah, and he's even though he has pitched the majors. I mean, he's just come off that long injury and stuff. So it's sort of you could say he's sort of like a bit of a risky player at the moment, which would mean maybe the Dodgers aren't that attached to him. But I don't know. He's pretty highly rated though before the injury, but I'd think that'd be a pretty good fit.
Yeah,
Someone
that
like
makes sense.
Urias.
It makes sense. I mean, the other teams, who else is still in on Realmuto?
I don't know. I mean, they've all signed catchers now, haven't they? Almost.
The Astros are still possible, aren't they? But
But yeah, I can't see them doing it. I think they're too well run to. Because what was it? Who was the player they were last?
Tucker,
Yeah,
that would be a mistake. And they're also one of these teams who've got the benefit of having such a deep lineup. They don't need a catcher that can hit. I mean, it would be great if they had one. But if I
no,
was them, I'd be like, well, they could re-sign Martin Maldonado, and it's like, well, fine, just hit ninth, block the ball,
yeah. I think
frame it well.
catcher defense as well is quite underrated now.
Yeah,
Partly because it's not the stats, or well, there are stats for it, but they're not very like widely known or talked about very much. So like we found, didn't we, when we looked at Realmuto, that he's actually, at best, he's like an average defender.
yeah.
You got all this stuff, all this propaganda that's been around him with all the certain journalists that are quite clearly like mouthpieces for agents.
Certain agents, let's say.
Yeah,
Who is JT Realmuto's agent? It's BBI Sports Group. I don't know who that is.
but all this stuff, yeah, with people talking about how good he is and how he's, he's the best catcher in baseball, best offensive catcher. Oh yeah, that was last year. He was quite a few of the top catchers were injured or just underperformed last year. I don't think ordinarily he's the best offensive catcher. He's a good catcher. I mean, before this summer, I would have said he's underrated, but now he's definitely not. Because you get
No,
people saying oh, he's a top offensive catcher and also a really good defensive catcher, and that's just not true.
he's an okay defender, and the only thing offensively is that he had an 870 OPS on the road last year, but then it's like a lot of people
Yeah,
have splits. Marlins Park's not great for hitters, but it's also not AT&T.
yeah, it doesn't tend to work like that though either. The home road splits thing, when you just look at that and go like, okay, if they move team, they're just going to be doing the road splits all the time.
Yeah,
That's not how it works. Like Rockies players.
they don't. They're not just absolutely appalling.
No, I mean, yeah, when they play for the
Petriello did.
Rockies, a lot of the time their road splits are bad.
Yeah.
But then when they move, that they don't then just become the player they were on the road.
No, I think the thing with Realmuto is he's like you say he was the best catcher last year, but I think he benefited from well Posey got hurt
Yeah,
interestingly.
I mean, who knows if Posey's going to be back or not? But if he is, he's arguably better or just as good as him. Then you've got like Contreras, who just underperformed.
Yeah,
Uh,
Gary Sanchez, whatever Gary Sanchez is now. I mean, like Gary Sanchez's ceiling is obviously higher than
yeah,
Realmuto's for me. Um, yeah, he's probably top five in baseball, but the price they're asking for him genuinely is the sort of price that would be like the package if you were trying to trade for like Francisco Lindor is insane.
yeah.
The stuff they're asking for 2 years of a catcher that is good, not great. Like
People are
we're not.
talking about him like he's an MVP contender, but it's just because he's a catcher. He's like a good hitter for a catcher. But the thing is that unless the rest of your lineup is full, you don't need a good hitter at catcher. You get a hitter that's just as good somewhere else, and they'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, unless the only reason it's like ultra valuable or like posy at his peak is when you've got a guy who's like your four hitter and an amazing defender, and it's like well
Yeah,
that's when you've got an MVP. But like yeah, he's it's a strange thing that there was supposedly such demand for him, um, and like you say, a lot of the teams that were linked to him have quite rightly said no and gone and just picked someone else up.
yeah. Do you think we should wrap up soon?
Yeah, probably. I think we've been waffling on for quite a while.
Um, all right. Have we got anything else to say?
Sonny Gray, maybe
Okay, yeah. Sonny Gray traded to the Reds
for it was
for
what
a
was it
long
shed?
shed.
Yeah,
Was it?
yeah, long shed, and they got did a pick, I think a competitive balance pick went in
Yeah,
the trade. So
which I know trading picks. That's quite unusual for baseball, really. But maybe it's coming. Maybe that's what everything's going to be in a couple of years.
I think it'd be quite a nice change if they started doing that. The it seemed like quite a high price to me to pay for Sonny Gray, as I wrote before the deal had actually gone through, because you know
Yeah,
he's okay. He's a long way, a bit like Pollock. He's a long way removed from when he was an all-star.
yeah. It's basically he was good a long time ago, and since then he's just been sort of reliable. Like when they've played to like a half decent. Well, saying that he had 4.9 ERA last year, but I mean, apart from that,
A lot of that was at Yankee Stadium. I mean, I know we are just saying about the home
yeah,
road splits. But then he's going to Great American Ballpark, which is not exactly nice for pitchers. So
no,
I don't know. Is that's why the trade seems particularly odd to me. Was if if you believe his splits home and road last year were because Yankee Stadium and pressure and short porch and all that, Great American Ballpark doesn't seem like it's the answer.
yeah. I mean, I can see him sort of as like a high upside sort of gamble, if you like, which is a lot of what the Reds have been doing pitcher wise,
Yeah,
like they did last year, and they're getting Matt Harvey and stuff. But you know, he's he's tied down till he's like what, like mid 30s or something,
yeah. They gave him was
33.
it
He's tied down to. I just team option last year, so it's till his age 32 year with a team option.
yeah.
10 million a year. So it's not exactly like a cheap like stab in the dark. But I think what they must be thinking is if they can get him back to anywhere near what he was, then that is very cheap.
It's a bargain. Yeah, but the what I find weird about their desire to give him the contract was I get that if he was good, you're not going to get him at that price and that small market and
Yeah,
such. But also, if he's really bad,
then
which
they're
is
screwed.
yeah, like if there's a lot of money for a team like the Reds, like we said again, it depends so much on the spending power of the ownership or
Yeah,
how much they want to spend at least. Because the Reds aren't just going to swallow like $30 million if
like if
if
that
he's
was the
crap this year.
Dodgers, if that was the
Yeah,
Dodgers doing that, it's like give away some kind like half decent prospect. I don't know that much about Shed Long, but I don't think he's not like one of the very top prospects in baseball. But give away like a half decent prospect, get someone a relatively team friendly contract with the
yeah,
chance for it to be like very good value for the next few years. And then if he's not, it doesn't matter if you're the Dodgers and you've got like a $200 million payroll. But the Reds, that's going to hurt them if it doesn't
they,
work out.
they don't have the leeway to make that sort of risk. I mean, it could be a stroke of genius. Is it his former pitching coach he's working with? I think.
Who
I
is it?
want to say like his college pitching coach. I should really know that, but maybe they think that's going to get him back to something like he was. I mean, the
I,
upside is on that money. He doesn't need to be that good for it to be okay value.